Stir Crazy Productions, baby.
What's good? Matthew Shack, Stir Crazy Productions. Come on now. You know what it is. It's Motivation Monday, man. Now, I'm a lot more animated than normal because today I'm about to lace y'all with some serious game. And I do mean serious game. I've noticed that there has been a lot of betrayal going on amongst people, friendships, relationships, marriages. People are getting their feelings hurt, man. You know, and they're finding out the truth about folks that is painful. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into today's topic. And today's topic is, let me move in a little bit. Forgive, but don't forget. Forgive, but don't forget. Now I can lean back. I'm gonna lean back like Fat Joe used to do. When Fat Joe was fat, now he's skinny. But anyway, I digress. You know, first thing first, man. I'm not gonna sit here while you're looking at me or listening to me and pretend that it is that simple to forgive. It's easy to not forget, but the forgive part, that's hard, man. You know, that goes against human nature. You have to really either be wired that way or you have to work on it daily. And that's what this is about, man. You're looking at and listening to a person who can hold a grudge probably better than the upper percentile of people on this planet. I got people who I still am holding things against who did things to me when I was kindergarten, first grade. Somebody picked on me. If you one of the people picked on me, I know I got even with you, but I still have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? I still have a problem with anybody that did anything that I felt was out of pocket. I have a problem with that. So as I got to the point where I am now, you have to be selfish enough, and I've said this in previous videos, you have to be selfish enough to give yourself a reprieve, to give yourself a break. It ain't really giving them a break more than it's giving yourself a break. You don't need to be carrying around all that stuff, harboring all that resentment. So what I'm going to say is that when you forgive somebody, and for me, that has to be ongoing because there's some days where I don't want to forgive nobody. Or sometimes it may be something that's so out of pocket that you just never can forgive somebody for it. You just can't do it. It's just not in your, not in your power. It's just not, or not your desire, or you're just not built like that, But I don't believe that you have to go and tell that person, I forgive you. I think it depends, depends on how, what the transgression is or was, how serious it was, and how far it went. If it's something minor, you might be able to get past it. But if it's something major or something that's just inconsolable or something that you just cannot, reconcile, it's not necessary to go to that person and tell them you forgive them. But you have to do that or you'll just be bitter. You'll just be a bitter person, man. You'll just be walking around and you just be a grouch. And then you'll just push away all the good people. Nobody wants to be around a grouch or, a person who's always got a sour face. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they're not the cause of it. That's the worst thing, you know. And in relationships, you're in a relationship with somebody. If you got a problem with somebody who's not your significant other or spouse, please do not be taking out your frustrations and anger on the person you're with, because they're going to cut. They're going to bounce out. Trust me, I've done it. Nothing worse than dealing with somebody who's angry at somebody else and they taking it out on you and you didn't even do anything. But that's part of what I'm saying. More importantly, you just got to understand that by forgiving somebody, the way that I do it is I don't forget it. I'll just say, you know what? I'm going to forgive that person, but I'm not going to expect anything from them anymore. In other words, I'm not going to expect them to return the favors that I've done. I'm not going to expect them to give me my money back, because if they were going to give me my money back, they'd give me my money back. I'm not going to expect them to understand how good of a friend I've been, or how good of a boyfriend I've been, or if you're a female, how good of a girlfriend or wife or husband or brother or father or parent or, cousin or whatever the case may be, BFF. By forgiving, you just say, you have it. You can have whatever it is I gave you. I don't expect nothing back. But I'm never going to forget that. In other words, just because you forgive somebody, that doesn't mean you have to keep doing the thing that you did before. In other words, you let somebody borrow your car, they get some speeding tickets, or they get some parking tickets on your car or whatnot, or they get those red light tickets, and it comes back to you and I'm going to take care of it. Yeah, man, I'm sorry, man. I'm going to go ahead and pay you. And then they don't pay you and then you have to pay them off. You might forgive them, but they don't need to borrow your car again. Hey, man, can I use your car? No. Can I use my car? Hey, man, can I borrow $20? Man, didn't you borrow $200 from me like 5 years ago and never paid me? Oh, man, I was going to get it to you. Doesn't mean I got to give you more money. Just keep that $200. I look at that as a $200 lesson. You know what I'm saying? You'll never get it again. So you got to put yourself in that position where you do not forget. Okay? By not forgetting, you don't put yourself in that position again. Okay? I don't care who it is. You don't do it again. If it's that much of a problem, if you have that much of a trouble to forgive somebody who did something to you, you better make sure that you don't do it again, because then you become Boo Boo the Fool. Okay, you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, you get what you get. You know what I'm saying? So those are the main things that you got to understand. There's no get back. Okay, there's no they're going to return the favor. There's no when you need something, they're going to look out for you. You don't expect anything from them. You don't put your happiness and your feelings into that person anymore. You just let them be who they are. You know what I'm saying? You let them be them. But do not put yourself in that position, where you are relying on them for anything. Period. Okay. It'll make it easier, to try to forgive. But if you keep letting that person come back and keep wounding you, you're never going to be able to get to the point where you're going to forgive somebody. You're just not going to be able to do it, And I'm working on that. I'm not perfect. Trust me. I like having grudges. I like not having a whole lot of respect for people who did things to me. I even used to go as far as wishing to see things bad happen to them. You know what I'm saying? So they can realize the error of their ways. But what was that getting me? It wasn't getting me anything. I no longer have those desires to wish things bad on folks. But if you're doing things that are bad for yourself, I'm not going to be the cause of it, but oh well, that's what happens when you act a fool. That's what happens when you do people dirty. That's what happens when you aren't loyal. That's what happens when you don't have respect for others, But even then, I'll be like, man, I hope they're okay. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to put that out there, let it be known. A lot of y'all going through some stuff right now, man. You having your close friends, they're showing you that, they're not your friends for real. You're the friend and they're not the friend. You're the friend and they're the foe. You know what I'm saying? So, keep that in mind. You have to do that. And last thing is that I had the pleasure of being in at an event that Wendy Williams, the queen of all media, was speaking at. And what was interesting about that is that I've never really, I know she was on the radio and I used to listen to her every once in a while, but, wasn't really an avid listener of her, or on radio or even on her television show. But let me tell you something about that lady, man. That lady is probably one of the most real people that is in the entertainment business. She keeps it rough, rugged, and raw. And some of the stuff that she was saying was so much common sense that I was like, wow, man, she didn't just get to where she got to, just because. She got to where she is now because she follows certain parameters and certain rules and regs. And she was talking about this very thing, about, having a list as a woman, and as you get older, you're looking for a spouse or a significant other or whatnot. Your list gets shorter and shorter and shorter as you get older. But as you're younger, your list is longer and longer. And you have to understand that it's not settling. She said it's just a switch off. Instead of this, I'm getting this. Instead of that, I'm getting that. So in regards to, and she was talking about relationships, but I'm talking about just straight up forgiving, whether it be relationships or whatnot, friendships, work, somebody at work did, snitched on you or whatever the case may be, or put something out there, or whatever your scenario is. I don't know what your scenario is, but you know who your scenario is. And when I'm speaking, somebody's popping in your head right now. That person is popping in your head. That person who's popping in your head, that's what I'm speaking of. Okay. But back to Wendy. When she was talking about that, you have to have a list that is very short. You have to understand that person doesn't fit into that parameter. Whoever it is that did something to you doesn't fit in that parameter. Myself, my parameters are very short. I want somebody who's loyal. I want somebody who has integrity. And I want somebody who ain't a liar. If you aren't one of those three things, I can work with the rest of it. But when I was younger, there was a whole bunch of other stuff that went with that. From friends to women I was dating, or, working scenarios or whatnot. So keep your list short. Understand that you don't have to forget, but you need to forgive. And if you do that, life will be wonderful.
Stir Crazy Productions, baby.